Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Washington State is a land of breathtaking beauty and diverse landscapes. Nestled in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State is a haven for nature lovers and adventurers alike. Its diverse ecosystem, ranging from lush rainforests to towering mountain ranges, offer a truly unique and beautiful experience. In this video, I'll be sharing our 5-day itinerary in Washington state, including flight details, day to day activities with accommodation, some tips to remember, and finally, the cost breakdown. Our journey began by flying to Portland, Oregon. In general, the flights to Portland tend to be less expensive than those to Seattle. Seattle is just 3 hours away from Portland, so flying to Portland and then driving to Washington state is a cost effective option. At Portland, the distance from the airport to the rental car location is considerable, so be prepared for a walk. The hotel we booked was just 6 minutes away from the airport, so we were able to get to the hotel quickly and stay in Portland that night. Day 1 was Olympic National Park. We had breakfast at the hotel, then drove from Portland to Olympic National Park. This national park has no entrance fee or reservation requirement. While most people enter Olympic National Park via the main visitor center near Port Angeles, we entered through the Quinault Rain forest station on the park's west side. There is no road that runs directly through the park, so you will see yourself enter and exit the park multiple times. Our first stop was at Quinault Ranger Station. The address to this location is linked in the description box below. We parked our car at the ranger station and did a small hike through the Maple Glade Trail. It's a 0.5-mile easy hike that takes you through the mossy rainforest. Nestled in the southwest corner of Olympic National Park and the Olympic National Forest in Washington state, the Quinault Rainforest receives 12 feet of rain annually. It is a temperate rainforest renowned for its lush greenery, towering trees, and rich biodiversity. Known as the Valley of Rainforest Giants, this ecological treasure is framed by the Quinault River and Lake Quinault, offering a serene and immersive experience for nature enthusiasts. Our next stop was at Lake Quinault. Lake Quinault is a stunning glacier-carved lake surrounded by the lush Quinault rainforest. The walk to the shoreline is a short walk through the campground. We had the beach all for ourselves. Our kids loved their time at the beach. Our next stop was Rialto Beach. Rialto Beach is a popular destination within Olympic National Park known for its rugged coastline, sea stacks, and driftwood. It's a great spot for beach walks, wildlife viewing, and exploring the iconic hole-in-the-wall arch at low tide. The place has a big parking lot, so it's easy to find parking. We spent almost an hour at this beach as the view was stunning. After Rialto Beach, we headed to Lake Crescent. Lake Crescent is a deep lake located entirely within Olympic National Park. It is known for brilliant blue waters and exceptional clarity caused by low levels of nitrogen in the water. Since it was almost 7:30 p.m. when we reached here, we just pulled out at one of the viewpoints along the road and spent some time there. The drive along this lake was beautiful. This was our last stop at the Olympic National Park. We then drove to Dungeness and stayed overnight in an oceanside cottage. The cottage was beautiful with a Pacific Ocean view. Day 2 was whale watching tour at Port Angeles. Before I dive into that, here is a quick overview of my channel. I have numerous videos dedicated to traveling with kids both within and outside the US. Do check out those videos for a wealth of information and tips based on our personal experiences. We started day 2 with a whale watching tour with Puget Sound Express in Port Angeles. They also have tours starting at Port Townsend, which is 45 minutes away from Port Angeles. Based on the availability, you can book your tours from any of these locations. The drive to this location was 30 minutes from where we stayed. There is a paid parking garage right across the street. You can park your car there and walk to the check-in desk. The address to the parking lot and the check-in desk is in the description box below. You will need to check in at least 30 minutes before the tour starts. Have a jacket and woolen hat on because it will be cold even in summer months. The cost of ticket per adult is $135 and it is $105 per child. The cruise lasts for 3 to 4 hours and goes all the way from Port Angeles towards Vancouver Island in Canada. We spotted several whales. The first one here was identified as Trifecta, a male whale. and the white-tailed whale was identified as geometry. We also saw some sea lions swimming in the water, and on the rocks near Race Rock's lighthouse, there were seagulls too. After the whale watching tour, we had ice cream at a shop just as you off-board the cruise. It was an interesting place with a swing for kids, a small play area, board games, few tables, and of course good ice cream. After having the ice cream, we headed to the Potlatch State Park on our way to Olympia. Set on a rocky estuary shoreline, Potlatch combines the delight of the sea and land. This beach had a lot of seashells. It's a great stop to get a break and stretch your legs. Absolutely loved this lake. From Potlatch State Park, we headed to Olympia where we stayed for the night. We stayed at Candlewood Suites at Olympia. Mt.Rainier National Park is just 1.5 hours away from Olympia. The entry to this national park is $30 per vehicle. The national park has two main parts, the Paradise Valley Road that runs along the south end of the national park, and then the Sunrise Corridor is at the northeast side of the national park. Timed entry reservation is required to enter the Sunrise Corridor if you plan to visit this side of the park between 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you enter Sunrise Corridor before 7 a.m. or after 5 p.m., you can enter without a reservation. There are no reservations needed for the Paradise Valley Road. We entered the national park through its west entrance at Nisqually. Be prepared for crowd and long line to enter the national park. Our first stop was the Narada Falls. This is a short but steep hike to the falls. It's known for its impressive two-tier drop, with the upper tier featuring a horsetail fall. Keep hold of your kids, the trail is steep and slippery on the way down. Parking at Narada Falls is limited, so you may have to wait for a spot. From Narada Falls, we headed to the Paradise Visitor Center that provides access to the most popular Alta Vista Trailhead and the Skyline Trail. Due to the popularity of this trailhead, parking may be limited. It might be necessary to circle the area multiple times before finding an available spot. Arrive early to the spot if possible. The visitor center here also has a restaurant. We hiked the Alta Vista Trail with the kids until the Myrtle Falls. It's an inclined hike and can be tiring for the non-hikers, but there are benches on the way to sit and take a break. I like that this trail has no cliffs and is wide, safe, and kid-friendly. On the way up, we saw marmot. There are a lot of them here. The Alta Vista Trail is known for fantastic display of wildflowers in the summer and panoramic views of Mount Rainier and the surrounding foothills all year long. We then headed towards the Myrtle Falls, which is a short but steep hike. Hold on to your kids here. It can be a bit of a challenge just walking down and getting back up. After all the hiking, we headed back to the visitor center parking, had lunch, grabbed a coffee, and made our way to the Reflection Lake. Reflection Lake is renowned for its stunning views of Mount Rainier reflected in its calm waters. It's a popular spot for photographers. The lake is easily accessible via Stevens Canyon Road, especially during the summer months when the road is open. After a short stop, we headed to Seattle to stay overnight. We stayed at the Candlewood Suites in Bothell. This was going to be our home for the next 3 nights. Day 4 was Seattle. We wanted to keep this day as light as possible. We first visited the Snoqualmie Falls, which is around 40 minutes from Seattle. There is free parking and paid parking at this place. Free parking is across the street and is a short walk to the falls. Paid parking has limited spots but takes you straight to the falls nearby. Snoqualmie Falls is 268-foot waterfall. It is one of the Washington's most popular scenic attractions and is known internationally for its appearance in the television series Twin Peaks. There is also a restaurant that has a good view of the falls if you would like to dine in. After falls, we headed to MTR to have our lunch. Established in 1924, this legendary restaurant serves South Indian comfort food in a casual setting. We were waiting for this day and so excited to have lunch here. Sure enough, MTR did not disappoint. We loved the food here and it took us back to our hometown. Definitely try out this place. Because of its popularity, there will also be a long queue before you can get served, so plan to go there early. After a heavy and a soulful lunch, we headed to the most popular Space Needle. There are a lot of public paid parking places available around Space Needle. The one we parked at was called Diamond Parking, that was right across the street. We parked there and headed to Space Needle. There was a huge queue and the entry is timed. We had to wait for 2 hours to get in, so we decided to skip that and go to the Seattle waterfront instead. But before heading there was a small play area for the kids right next to the Space Needle in front of the Museum of Pop Culture. The kids wanted to play there, so we let them play. This playground has a good view of the Space Needle in the background. We then headed to the Seattle waterfront. There are public paid parking garages here, so it's easy to park and walk. The Seattle waterfront centers on a collection of lively piers filled with seafood restaurants, souvenir shops, and attractions like Seattle Great Wheel, with gondolas overlooking the Puget Sound. We took a stroll around this area and walked up the Pike Place Market. It's a steep climb on the Pike Street and takes around 15 minutes to reach there. On the way, you will pass through the famous Gum Wall. Gum Wall is a unique and colorful tourist attraction formed by years of accumulated chewed gum. Starting in the early 1990s, theater patrons waiting in the line would stick their gum on the walls, a practice that quickly spread and became a local tradition. Despite attempts to clean the wall, it continued to grow, eventually becoming a popular photo spot and a symbol of Seattle's quirky charm. Pike's Marketplace is also home to the first ever Starbucks store. It was here where Starbucks opened its first store in 1971, offering fresh roasted coffee beans, tea, and spices from around the world for its customers to take home. After Pike's Marketplace, we headed back to the hotel and stayed at Bothell that night. Day 5 was North Cascades National Park. North Cascades National Park is around 2 hours from Seattle. This national park too has no entry fee or reservation requirements, so it's free to enter. We first headed to the visitor center parking to get some parking info, had our brunch, and headed to the Trail of Cedars. Trail of Cedars is a kids-friendly short hike, takes you through some old-growth cedar. The suspension bridge at the beginning crossing over the Skagit River was nice. The loop trail takes you through some old-growth trees, which was more than just cedar, but also a massive variety of ferns throughout the trail. This trail is mostly in the shade, which was nice as the temperature was hot. After this, we headed to the Gorge Lake Overlook. There is a huge parking at this place. Gorge Lake Overlook features a stunning view of Gorge Dam and Gorge Lake framed by the rugged North Cascades Mountains. It felt like it was St. Patrick's Day because of the color of this lake. It's a short, paved trail that leads to the overlook. You can return the way you came or continue the loop on a graveled trail back to the parking area. We then headed to the Ross Lake Reservoir. Ross Lake is a reservoir formed by the containment of the Skagit River at Ross Dam to generate hydroelectric power for Seattle City Light. It was a beautiful spot to stop at. Kids played at the beach and we could relax on the shores. People also do paddleboarding, boating, swimming, fishing in this place. We then headed to the most popular spot of North Cascades, the Diablo Lake. There is a huge parking lot at this place too. The lake overlook is accessible from the parking lot. In summer, the distinctive turquoise color of the lake is the result of suspended fine rock particles refracting sunlight. These rock particles, called glacier flower, enter the lake when rock from the surrounding mountains is eroded by ice and flows into the water through glacial streams. The color is most vibrant on sunny days in July, August, and September when seasonal glacial melts occur. This was our last stop in North Cascades, but definitely the most beautiful one. We spent quite some time here and headed back to Bothell to stay overnight. Now coming to my most favorite part, tips. Tip 1 is rent a hybrid car because gas in Washington state is expensive. It is $4.50 to $5.50 per gallon. Tip 2 is download offline maps. Network in and around National Park is spotty, so download offline maps. Tip 3 is carry bug sprays, especially if you are visiting rainforests. We saw a lot of bugs in the Quinault rainforest area. Tip 4 is carry sunscreen and hats. This is a must if you are visiting Washington State in summer months, as it is going to be very hot. Tip 5 is carry beach toys and beach essentials, as there are a lot of beaches and kids will love playing at the beaches. Tip 6 is check for road closures before heading out. Check the nps.gov website for any closures in the national park. Tip 7 is to consider buying a national pass if you plan to visit 2 or more national parks in a year. It will save you some dollars. Tip 8 is to check for gas stations and fill gas when you can, because gas stations around the national parks are usually not available. Tip 9 is stack up food and water in the car before heading out. Final segment, the cost breakdown. Flight cost from Minneapolis was $800. Stay at Portland was $166. Stay at Port Angeles was $300. Stay at Olympia was $168. Stay at Bothell for 3 nights was $740. Puget Sound Express whale watching tour was $541. Car rental for 7 days was $522. Gas was $150 because the car was hybrid. We were able to save some money there. Meals was $250. Miscellaneous is $200. Total cost for a family of 4 was $3,837. We were able to redeem points worth of $1,065 from our previous travels, so the cost of this trip was $2,772. That's all for today's video. If you like my videos, please do like, share and subscribe. Until we meet next time, Namaskara.